New York has long been the landing site for immigrants pursuing the American dream.
This is hollow ground for all the nations that landed on Ellis Island, that did their 12 million pour through this area in a matter of 1890 to 1920. The hardship of 16 to a room, 32 to a room is where you need to remember that your great parents, what your parents and what immigrants, each succeeding generation, struggled so hard and overcame and triumphed as an American citizen, as an American society. And this is where it is.
But many longtime residents of Lower Manhattan are being forced out of their homes by rising costs of living.
We've got a real problem. We're losing about 100,000 units, 50 to 100,000 units every year in New York to vacancy decontrol, luxury decontrol, and those are laws passed by a legislature that is not always as responsive to tenants and voters as one might like.
Community leaders such as Paul Newell believe that New York's current housing laws put low-income tenants at a disadvantage.
When a tenant moves out, the landlord gets to raise the rent 20%, plus whatever increase they would have gotten otherwise. Now, that is a tremendous incentive for landlords to harass tenants out of their homes. That's the number one thing we need to stop. That came in 1997.
For low and moderate income tenants, it has gotten steadily worse.
Wasim Lone is the director of housing at Good Old Lower East Side, a tenants advocacy organization. He believes that state housing laws have contributed to a displacement of low-income tenants.
So we've seen a very steady decline, loss of rent-stabilized apartments since 1997. Approximately about 10 to 12,000 apartments in the Lower East Side.
There's a great need for affordable housing, both for working people and for people who are mentally or physically disabled and unable to hold a job, and they need supported housing that's subsidized by the city.
Mari Arnaud works at Community Access, which provides housing for formerly homeless people.
More and more, it seems as neighborhoods become gentrified, the more affluent people coming in, kind of like they're supportive of low-income people having housing, but they don't want it in my backyard.
Community activists are proposing solutions to this problem.
The preservation of rent-stabilized units it's not only production but preservation of these units is key to dealing with the housing crisis.
There's also been obviously a failure to invest in the capital funding of NYCHA. I mean, we wouldn't have an $18 billion shortfall of needed repairs if we were taking seriously the lives of the 650, 700,000 people who live in public housing.
In spite of all these challenges, community leaders are dedicated to preserving their community.
Because at the end of the day, it's basically about love of a community and making it last. Just like you want to ensure your kids to have a future, to have a clean shirt, that you're not walking in garbage, that you're well lit, you're not scared of rats, you're not scared, you're not filthy, you have pride, you have a sense of history, connection, and you want to display your culture like we're doing there right now. And it is all the culmination of all these factors together, not the individual one or two policies, but in a broader range of multi-pronged approach, using every piece of arsenal that we can use to help stabilize it.